Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Androids and Aliens. My name is Troy LaValle, and I'm tired. I'm feeling tired right now. I'm a little beat. I just drank an iced coffee. It's gone now. I was hoping I'd have it fresh for the start of the show.
Drinking that whole thing.
Drinking that whole iced coffee. Drained your energy.
That iced coffee is 80%
very
ice.
athletically.
Just the lifting it is exhausting. I'm so tired all the time.
Well, your problem is that your iced coffee is all ice and no coffee.
Yeah. It's decaf.
It might be decaf.
Oh, actually, yeah, that's the
other
problem.
That is the problem.
What time do you guys go to bed at night? Do you have like a general range? I'm going to guess who goes to bed earliest and who goes to bed latest.
Ooh.
I'm going to say David Winters goes to bed earliest.
Incorrect.
And Skid goes to bed latest.
That would be what I guess as well.
Why are you so confident, Joe?
Oh, because you know what? I was going to say it's definitely Matthew, but the problem is I think Matthew's wife is way cooler than him, so she makes him stay up later. I didn't factor that in.
I didn't think about that. Matthew was going to be my guess as well, but you're right.
And Matthew can't argue with that because then he has to say, "Oh, I'm cooler than my wife," and then she's going to be pissed. So
Here.
Yep.
I like that you
I'll
guys...
get a text about it in the next 2 minutes. Why are you talking about me?
Sitting there with a glass on the other side of the door, just listening for mentions.
Caitlin has hearing like a bat, and I can whisper something, and she'll be in like 3 rooms away, and I'll get a text, be like, "I can hear you."
I like that you guys are like 12 and being like, it's cool to go to bed late.
Yes, Ellie, that's what I misunderstood about these fellows. I was like, oh, they're like 40 and still like staying up late and playing video games and just yelling things is their idea of a good night.
It's cool. It's cool.
It's a business, Matthew. It's called work.
I don't know if it's cool, but I think there's this like common misconception that it's like the later I stay up, the more productive I'll be. You know, there's hours left in the day, and I always fall for it, and I am always wrong.
Yep.
You're not productive.
It is staggering to me how every single day of my life, my night self can fool my morning self every single day. And my morning self has still never figured it out and has no leverage in the evening hours. You know what I mean? Like my morning self is absolutely like, you will feel 1,000 times better. You will enjoy the sunshine on your face. You will smile at the laughter of your children. You will get up and work out and feel great all day. And night self is just like, I'll do that anyway. But first, I'm going to drink 3 liters of beer.
And that's also like, what time is it? 2 a.m.? You should make popcorn right now. Now's the time for a little snack.
Like a little Crunchable while I watch this, and I don't want to sleep too much.
But are you guys morning people? Because I'm not a mean drunk, but I am a mean morning person. Like I am very pissy in the morning.
I feel like Troy is not a morning person.
Well, I am.
Troy gets up really early, though.
Yeah, he is.
You do? Oh, okay. I see. I assumed the other way.
The problem is I get up between 5 and 6. I'll wake up and then I'll sit there and I'll send some emails from my bed, and then I'll get up and make coffee and start the day. But the problem is I used to go to bed earlier. I had a good like 11 p.m. Bedtime for a while, but now it's being stretched to somewhere between 12 and 12:30. But I still get up at 5:30, 5:45. I feel like I can get so much more done, but then I'm not getting enough sleep.
Yeah,
I share a room with Troy on tour, and he is, I mean, so unbelievably mean in the morning that you would think he's not a morning person, but it's actually the exact opposite. They're all bits. And he wakes up ready to just like be on stage, but he's just using you as the single audience member punching bag. So yeah, it's not that he's grumpy. He's just hot. He's just on, and you're just the victim of it.
Yeah, we use Joe to jump on the grenade of that, so that we can deal with Troy 7 hours later.
Do you remember the time we had adjoining rooms, though? You and Grant were next
Yes.
door, and you guys were like, we're just going to shut this door.
Yeah, the door just shut. Like,
I think at like 11 or something, I like knocked on the door and came in, and then you were still going, and I was like, I'm just gonna.
yeah, Matthew opened the door and Troy said something unrepeatable about Matthew physically, and Matthew just walked back and closed the door and did not respond.
It's also like a huge difference in terms of how physically that manifests in the room. I follow Matthew's lead, and our hotel rooms are always very neat and tidy. I put things away immediately.
Grant is
Matthew
an
will
excellent traveler.
I try to be. Next time we start traveling, I won't be snoring as much anymore. I'll tell you that much. I think that was the only big complaint.
That was a downside.
Yeah, but it's gone now, so that's a big thing. But we're very neat and tidy. And then, like, if Joe and Troy ever want to meet in their hotel room, I am just shocked. It is like they got robbed by 3 different break-in entries. There's Doritos everywhere and like empty beer cans right by the bed. Like, oh yeah, this is a good way to fall asleep. Ugh. No wonder
Pizza
you
is
were
like under the
5:30.
covers with them.
Again, I'll refer to night self and morning self. Night self is like, just one more Bud Light in bed.
The last couple times, though, it was really great because Joe, Troy, and I would kind of keep it going. And when we were in a house together and watching TV or whatever, we get really excited and order a pizza. And the last like 3 times, Troy's been asleep by the time the pizza's been there. Just
So
like
sad.
slowly laughing at like Beavis and Butthead Do America in the corner. And then just
Is that
like,
what you're watching?
we were watching
We were in
Jackass,
LA,
maybe.
and we had that house. Like, I was the last one out of the house before like my flight was the last to leave, and there were like 3 whole pizzas worth of pizza that Troy had ordered after he fell asleep. I was like, what do we do with this? I had pizza for breakfast. I had pizza for lunch.
Grant and Joe, well, we're getting away from the bedtime thing, but Grant and Joe, this is an interesting side topic, are the type that when they travel, they take their clothes out of their bags and they put them in the drawers of the hotel, which I don't even want to touch because I imagine it's just semen
Ellie's making
everywhere.
a face that I've never seen. Ellie went like this.
It's horrifying, isn't it? I wouldn't even hang a jacket in the closet, let alone put a pair of boxers where 8,000 other boxers sat.
I wrap myself in plastic before I go to bed in that hotel room. I don't want to touch anything. I don't know. I don't know. I also am convinced that there's cameras in every hotel room.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many of your
Because there are.
I don't know how many of your former partners told you they got their STD from putting their boxers in the hotel drawer. But let me just break it to you. That's not how it happened, Troy.
You don't know.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know.
I think I like keeping everything in my suitcase because then I know I'm really traveling.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm not
Question,
moving
is-
in for the weekend.
Can
Just
bed
visited.
bugs become an STD?
Whoa. No.
Can you transmit
Are you
bed
saying
bugs
can
sexually?
bed bugs become crabs? Because those are very different parasites on your body. No,
Yeah, that's
different bug.
It
Different
depends
bug,
on the
okay.
sexual behavior of the bed bug, I guess.
Yeah.
I got some kinky bed bugs, dude. They are into wild stuff. Whips and chains, just tiny ones this big all over my bed.
So, what's everybody's bedtime? Let's go around the horn here. Joe, bedtime, generally.
11.
11.
Mm-hmm.
Sydney?
I would say on average, probably like 1.
1. Yeah, I figured you for a 1. Right when you get home from the rave,
Yeah.
drink your orange juice so you come down off the E.
That doesn't.
I'm following everything you're saying, Troy.
That definitely doesn't happen at 1, by the way.
Yeah, that was like a 5 a.m. thing.
I mean, what an
home
old
really
man
early
thing to
from the
say.
rave.
Oh, you got home at 1 from the rave.
That's when rave
It
starts.
doesn't even start at 1.
Rave is just getting kicked off.
Matthew, midnight?
Midnight, somewhere
Really?
between midnight and 12:30.
Yeah.
And you get up at 5:30 every day.
No, I haven't gotten up at 5:30 in a long time.
Oh, okay. So do you get 8 hours? Do you get up at around 8?
I mean, I try. I sleep only slightly better than Troy sleeps.
Yeah.
Also, I want to say, although I go to bed late, I do wake up at 7:45 almost every morning.
Oh, okay. So that's key. We should talk about that as well. Grant, bedtime, I'm going to say 12:31.
I start thinking about bed at 11, depending on what's going on and how much I have to get done. I will start heading there then. But oftentimes I'm like, I need to hop on the bike. I need to finish this. I need to write these emails. I need to do that. And yeah, it's usually more like 12 when I'm in bed and laying down. And then if I'm smart and I pick up a novel to read, I'll fall asleep pretty quickly. If I pull out my phone and start reading the Times or another news source, I could be up till 2 a.m.
It's that blue light.
Yeah.
Ellie, what time do you go to bed? Midnight?
No, it depends on if I've had a meltdown. So I would say sometime between 1900 or
Oh, boy.
5:30 a.m.
Can't you just give me the real time?
Wait,
You go to bed at 5:30 in the morning?
7? What?
If she had a meltdown, I'm guessing they
Oh.
usually last all night.
no.
wow.
Yeah, that's true. I try to be in bed around 11. Yeah.
11. Okay. But if you have a meltdown 7 p.m., that's 1900, isn't it?
No. 7 p.m. is if I have a good day, because then I'm like, great, now I can sleep for 15 hours.
Before I move on, I still don't know what the answer is.
Yeah, I didn't understand any of it.
Kid, I'm going to
11
say
p.m.
4 a.m.
11 p.m. 11 p.m. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Wait, what time, Ellie?
Wait, are we on skid?
I think your mic is it's muted, I think.
Something's not right with your mic. Skid, 4 a.m., 3 a.m. I think it's late.
It's pretty late. It depends. If it's usually around 1 or 2, but if I'm into a video game, like I've been playing Battle Brothers lately, and that can keep me up until 4 or 5 in the morning.
Oh my god.
It'll fuck me up all week.
Yeah, it really does. It's hard to come back from that.
Yeah, yeah.
What about old David Winters? Look at this guy.
What's up, David?
Yay. Well, I guess I'm the big winner, or in a way, the big loser here, because for me, it's around 9 or 9:30 p.m. is when I go to bed.
So I nailed it.
You were right.
You
You were
did
right.
nail it. Wow.
I get up at like 5 though, 5 or 6 every day, including the weekends.
Dude,
So-
I like that. You know, fucking Mark Wahlberg goes to bed at 8:30 and he's up at 1. He's already put 2 workouts in before Skid's gone to bed.
There is no way, Troy, that you believe in Mark Wahlberg's list, his timed out thing. There's no fucking way that man
Oh, I
does that.
believe it. That guy
You do-
golfs
of
9
course you do.
holes before 7 a.m.
The sun isn't even up. Like, how do you see the ball?
He does it. He's an amazing man.
He just does it.
Yeah, 9:30. I like that, David. I could see I would love to go to bed at that time because then I'd love to get up at 4 a.m. Do you get up at 4 or 5?
Well, it depends, because like this morning, for example, I woke up at about 3, and that was because I woke up really briefly, and then the thoughts start going through my head about all the stuff I need to do today, and then that's it.
Yeah.
It's kind of over, and then I wake up, and the coffee gets made, and the day starts.
Yeah.
And of course, I also, in fairness, stay up late on Friday nights for Androids and Aliens. Of course, I'm
Well, that's just
not
smart.
in bed at 9 o'clock.
I was going to ask, did we ruin your whole cycle by doing our show at night?
No, because that is kind of the requisite for me to actually be there as well, because stupid 9-to-5 jobs getting in the way. So, I will make that sacrifice to be here.
You know what is a dream that I almost started living out, which is how people in olden times and ancient Romans documented sleeping like this, sleeping 4 hours, waking up an hour, eating, and then sleeping another 4 hours. I did that for a while when I was in a lot of pain from my shoulder surgery, and it was kind of nice to have that time to yourself just at like 3 a.m. and then get another couple hours of sleep and then go on your day. It might be more natural, but it's difficult to get into. It's almost like
Yeah.
sleep training for an adult.
I've heard of that too, and actually I did that when I had my tonsillectomy because it was impossible to sleep lying down, and I would sleep sitting up, right, like propped up on pillows on the couch, and I would wake up like on the hour, 3 hours up, and then 3 hours of sleep and 3 hours up. And although it sucks because you're in pain because of surgery, but I will say it definitely, like the sleep I was getting, it was like REM sleep. I was like dead and then fully awake and like ready to go. There was no like sluggish in between.
Oh, have you guys looked into lucid dreaming?
Oh yeah.
It's like virtual reality, and you can you can do stuff in your dreams if you figure
I
out how to
talked
do
about
it.
this. I'm an avid lucid dreamer, and the minute I know I'm driving the ship, I just have sex with everyone.
That's what I do too. That's what I do
Like,
too.
get over here, you lamppost. I go to town. I mean, I'm ruthless.
you have sex with the people you want to have sex with, but like you do
No, whoever I can
lampposts?
grab my hands on. I'm like, there's only so much time before my conscious mind catches up with my unconscious mind. Get over here, you son of a
What
gun.
happened when you had sex with a smoker?
That was read the
don't talk about
deposition. Yeah, there's a mess of scars down there now.
That's why he's so into lucid dreaming now.
On that note,
On that note, I highly recommend if you can get up with the sun. You know, it resets your circadian rhythm, and I find that I'm the most fertile at that time. But I wish I could go to bed earlier. You're gonna have to get up pretty early in the morning, though, if you want to beat the Corpse Fleet.
yeah. Oh, man.
That was a short ep last week. I apologize. I cut it so short. We got a lot going on in the network, and I have to stay on schedule. They're always telling me in the corporate office.
I was thrilled. I was thrilled at how much we ran over. I talked to you about it a lot afterwards, how excited I was at how long that episode was, at how many of the Corpse Fleet there were. That was cool. That was really cool.
I can't tell if you're being serious or not because I don't remember our conversation.
No, it was awful and it sucked. No, the one thing I will say, the one thing I did like about it is when you start a new book, you're like, okay, I'm prepared for several hours of role playing and not getting to do any of the fun new stuff that I leveled up. Right, like when you're starting a new book, it's just a routine thing. It's deal with it. Get yourself in that mindset. And I mean, man, was that a curveball? It was just like, boom, massive combat, multiple combatants, splitting the field, huge ranges of things, and then getting to use all our new abilities, and including seeing a new character of some kind. And I was just like, this is awesome. So yeah, that part was great. I just was like, it's too long. It's just too long. I can't play that long anymore.
Yeah, I hear you. And it gets a little repetitive after a while. The thing about them is they did decent damage, but they were so easy to hit. They just had a lot of hit points too, so it was hard to take them all out. But I wanted to give this sense of like, holy shit, we're outnumbered. This is an armada up here, and like now there's 10 guys here, just to give that sense of like oppression and what the enemy is.
A swarm.
Yeah, because you had never really did anything like that. You fought pretty much 5-on-5s or 6-on-6. How many players are there? 6? Yep. 6-on-6. So, yeah.
I was wondering, I was thinking about that, and that did give a good sense of scale and kind of just the massive armies we might be facing going forward. And I like that. Did you ever consider, you talked about rebalancing things for the amount of PCs, did you ever consider having like a corporal or like a leader type of guy and less people there, or would that unbalance things and not give the impression you wanted? Just talk me through that.
Yeah, no, I talked about it because David will always send me some suggestions on like we can either bump the ACs up here or add people, and like I usually shy away from the adding. This time I went with it because I was like, I want it to seem like, how are we going to defeat 10 of these guys? Because they look so badass. I wanted that impression out there. I did think about maybe doing a boss like that, but I want it to be the grunts. Because now that you've defeated them and you've heard from what remains of Steve that like there's more coming, it's like, well, what's the next wave going to be like? We've got to make some decisions quickly.
Yeah. What if none of these are lieutenants? It's cool when like you haven't even seen a lieutenant yet. It's much more nerve-wracking.
Right. These are the grunts.
It was unclear also, like I for a long time was like, does he want us to engage in a fight here? Or is there a way to not? Like, can we sneak by them? Because sometimes I guess in role-playing games, you're not sure with the GM. What they're trying to, like, are they trying to make us to sneak or are they trying to make us engage?
Yeah.
And I frankly, so I was like, oh God, maybe we made a huge mistake by engaging. But then I'm like, but then he had prepared 10 soldiers, so
you psych yourself out. This happens a lot in role-playing games where you like overthink it to the point where you're like, I don't know what's right anymore.
Right. Yeah. As a player, you negotiate against yourself. Like you decide what the GM is thinking, and then use that to change your decision. And you're just like you're overthinking
because there's an optimal solution. Or you think there is. And so it's just like you're trying to guess what that is based on what the GM is telling you. And
Yeah. No,
it's cool. Like assuming tone in an email. I'm like, this guy talking back to me? No, he's really just stating facts.
I feel
I didn't like his tone.
Well,
attacked.
you're standing on this battlefield. There's bodies everywhere. Your ship, the Sarissa, is in bad shape. And now you think that there might be another wave or more coming to finish the job that this first wave of Marines couldn't do. You see tracks leading off into the jungle, perhaps of their ship. And you also see this Meishun character that you rescued from the Cult of the Devourer ship join you in the fight, emerging from this dangerous jungle. I want to start in darkness. And then from the darkness, I want, boom, like lights to come up on two beautiful, almost almond-shaped eyes darting open. And we're still focusing in on those eyes, but we hear sounds of hyperventilating in the background, just like with a heartbeat all the while. Boom, 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 boom. If Joe is like a master of Sirenscape, you would hear all of those things right now, both as players and an audience. But I don't even know how to turn on Sirenscape, so I don't blame him for giving us what you're actually hearing. Boom, 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 boom. Almond-shaped eyes open up, and we pull back to reveal a young Lashunta woman lying in a bed. Familiar in many ways, unfamiliar in others. Bluish skin, markings under the eyes, purple hair, little antennae peeking out. She's disoriented, afraid. You can see the fear in her eyes, but she gets up, sits up, quickly looks around. She's in a medical bay of a starship. How does she know this? How does she know anything? Thoughts running through her head. Today feels like the first day of her life, yet her mind races with memories she doesn't recognize. How can you not recognize a memory? She stands up and wanders out of the med bay into a hallway where she sees a trail of blood leading in two directions. Trepidatiously, she follows one of the trails around the corner and into another room. The trail ends suspiciously with remnants of restraints lying around and a severed furry hand. A voice booms out from everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Who are you?
I am Seiyun.
Well, hello, Seiyun. My name is Steve.
Steve?
Yes, I am the artificial intelligence of this ship, named the Sarissa.
Sarissa. It seems strangely familiar, but distant. Foreign. Huh. Who is the leader of this ship?
Her name is Captain Krezkaletha.
Krezkaletha.
Does that name ring a bell to you?
It feels like a chrysalis. The hollow shell of an insectoid left behind. Something like an impression that's there but not there. I don't know that makes sense, Steve.
It doesn't. I do not understand poetry. However, I hope you don't mind me saying so. You are quite beautiful.
I don't even... And it dawns on Seiyun that she doesn't know what she looks like. And so she looks around for a mirror. She walks up to it and sees this Demaya Lashunta form. Purple hair, as Troy described, green eyes just staring back into herself, but not... It's almost like an animal looking into a mirror and not knowing it's itself at first, and having just like strange moments of like touching her own face and like looking at her teeth as she pulls her bottom lip away.
If you don't mind me saying, you are looking at yourself as if you're seeing yourself for the first time.
That's precisely what's happening, Steve. I'm sorry, and she's just wearing whatever kind of strange medical clothing was on inside of there.
It's a tie-dye bikini.
Tie-dye bikini.
One Piece, probably.
Why is the improv rule yes and? No.
It should be
and
no, stop.
Go to stop.
No, come on.
And then I think she looks around for like a chest, and like there's probably inside the gear you saw her on the field in, and she dons it and says, "Steve, I need to leave the ship, the Sarissa. Is that all right? Is that something I can do?"
You are free to come and go as you please, from what I understand. If you don't mind, though we've never met, something about you seems very familiar now that you are dressed with that gear. Hold on, searching database. Ah, here it is. And then on displays near you, and then you see displays popping up elsewhere on the ship, there are several images of Meishan Vanya appearing. There's images of her with the Driftrock 5 on Good Morning Glipglorp. There's images of her sleeping on the Sarissa, image of her standing and talking casually with a Yosoki in a lab coat. Just this barrage of collected images in the Sarissa's database of Mei Shun, and they end in an image of Mei Shun's remains, much of her half dissolved in acid, along with Dr. Friss's reports on her death.
And I think
Yeah, good.
this just sends aneurysm, migraine level, I should say, pain through her head, and she just grabs her temples when she sees it. And it's seeing your own body so decimated by the acid burns that Mei Shun went through right after seeing her casually living and thinking, was that me? What is this thing that looks just like me?
You say your name is Seyun, but according to my records, your name is Meishan Vanya, and you are deceased.
Vanya. Mei Shun. And like a glitch happens in her head again as she like tries to access these memories that aren't her own. And she's blocked basically. Like a mental firewall pops up. I don't know about that. I know that my name is Seyun, and I can sense great power awakening. And I know that I was to awaken alongside that great power, and I must seek it out, Steve.
Yes. Well, you should know that the captain, and then all of a sudden just sensors erupt throughout the ship, and then boom, the ship shakes, and you almost lose your footing, like it was hit with a blast from the outside. And Steve changes tone, changes topic, and is like, a hostile ship is nearby and firing on the Sarissa. Boom! The ship shakes again, and you see sparks fly out from a distant portion down the corridor. And Steve says, I believe it is in your best interest to follow your instincts and find safety so that you do not die a second time.
And without saying a word, Seyun just darts down the hallway. And I think like if like a compression pipe were to burst and like shoot flame out or something like that, you see that happen, and she immediately reacts, and you see just this like video compression glitch happens, and she steps out of reality and exists like 10 feet down the hallway away from it and darts to the entrance.
Oh, badass.
And like her pain, the pain returns in her head as she does it, but she's able to keep on darting down the hallway as it happens.
And out, and you look up and you see a ship flying in. It looks like a skeleton, this flying animal carcass firing at the Sarissa, and you dart into the trees and disappear. And now we come back to the six of you standing there looking at these bodies, realizing another wave of people are going to come, and standing next to someone that looks very similar to an old friend of yours. What do you do?
Is Linnea? Linnea, didn't you run onto the ship?
Yeah, I did, but if Troy wants me to be outside, I can come outside.
All of you, well, Linnea just steps back outside and is like,
Yeah.
Steve, something's wrong with Steve.
Yeah. Steve.
What is the condition of the ship?
He's not responsive. He's not responsive. The ship is like it's a massacre in there. We need to fix it.
Is it
Right
flyable?
No.
Is that true? Like,
It's in bad shape. You can see from the outside it would take a long time to get it back to perfect condition, and it could take hours to get it in the condition to be able to fly. But what is your plan? Let's think about that for a second. You know from Osteth that your options are pretty limited, your options to save the world. You can either take control of the stellar degenerator and fly it directly into one of the 12 suns, or find something of unbelievable size and power and collide it with the degenerator. Above you, that you've seen on the monitors, there's an enormous armada of ships led by one huge ultranaut, fighting off the Gate of the 12 Suns defenses en route to the stellar degenerator. So even if you could get the Sarissa up and running, you'd be flying straight into this battle above.
let's get to their ship. At least we'll have a way to get past the fleet.
We're abandoning Sarissa.
We'll come back. Also, Steve is software. I'm sure we could port him over.
Yeah. Chris, can we? We might need Steve. I don't know if, if we try to take another ship, maybe we could import Steve and it might help.
Friss's eyes are fixed on who he thinks is Meishan. And he's just kind of shaken from this trance. He's like, I can try. And he starts moving back towards the Sarissa, kind of glancing over his shoulder at Meishan. But he's going to go back and see if he can take Steve's operating system out and to implant somewhere else.
Okay, so you run onto the ship, head to the bridge. You see the smoke coming out of a tube, bursts of flames, in Meishan's flashback there, or Seiyun's flashback. You get to the bridge, roll a computer's check to try and download what remains of Steve's artificial consciousness.
24.
24.
27.
27. Okay, you get it. At first glance, something seems not right with it. But you know this is all you got.
Okay. Yeah, he gets it downloaded, sees it's maybe corrupted, and he goes to before really quickly, as much as happening on the ship, he runs to his quarters and grabs something, and then he comes back.
It's crazy to think because Linnea and Friss, and let's not to discount Linnea, but Friss has been on this ship since the beginning. There has to be this thought running through your head that you may never see this old ship again.
Sorry, I was doing music. We're ditching the ship?
Yeah.
Forever?
Well, at least to get to the
now.
stellar degenerator. There's no way through the fleet.
And there's no way to fix it in time.
We're abandoning Steve.
Okay.
Well,
I have Steve here.
Did you get Dr. First? Did you get my Mountain Dew?
No, but I can replicate
No,
it.
it's fine. It's fine. Callum runs on the ship to get his Mountain Dew.
No.
The ship explodes.
Boy, you come back.
Ship explodes with
Turns to
Callum.
say,
He runs out holding a
is
baby. It's just Mountain Dew. It's a liter of Mountain Dew.
Do we get the sense it is actually too dangerous to run on, or that it's going to explode imminently, or can
Now,
we
if
run
there's
on?
things you need to grab, you probably have time.
Dax is going to grab his guitar, so he runs in to the room, and it's just and
axe.
he looks at the drum set and just stops, and then runs out.
By the way, you should.
That was Koala's.
I hope it's a flying V like metal guitar, and you call it Dax's axe.
Oh, I haven't actually named it. No, it's Eoxian guitar. It's a bone guitar. It's an Eoxian bone guitar.
Oh, that's
Hell
metal.
yeah.
That's
yeah,
very
it's
metal.
metal
That
is
was like
all
a
hell.
DLC in Rock Band, I think. There was like a bone guitar.
Was there?
Was there? I think there was. Yeah, or Guitar Hero. It was sick.
So
Kreska spots. She doesn't know her name, but Seiyan, and is like, "Hello there."
Hello. I'm looking for Kreskaletha.
That is me.
Oh. What an auspicious occasion. I am Seiyan.
Seiyan, you helped us in the battle.
Yes.
Are you willing to help us a little more?
I know the Armada's visible. Is the Stellar Degenerator visible from where we're standing right now?
No, in fact, neither of them are. I think it would be like lights in the sky. It's not like a clear thing that you can see like the moon during the day. Sometimes
But something
you just see
aberrational,
lights.
something that's not normal is in the sky?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. So Seiyan points at that aberrational thing and says, I sense a great awakening, and I don't understand my place in it, but I know that I am to be there. Are you heading there?
Yes. A weapon of truly horrific proportions is up there. A gate has been opened to it. Unfortunately, a massive armada of evil has appeared here as well and seeks the same weapon. We seek to destroy it and end the threat to life in this universe.
If you will accept my aid, I would love to accompany you.
You have no idea how easy it is to accept aid from you.
I suppose I will learn, Kreskaletha.
Yes. Which direction did you say we think the bone ship is, Troy?
You see burnt into the ground, sort of to the north of the landing pad where the Sarissa is a pathway that they must have landed the ship out in the jungle a little bit, where you were very trepidatious about going anywhere near the jungle because of these little tendrils reaching out and maybe another Jub's nut. It's scorched earth, and while you can't see the ship, you know it must be in that direction.
Dax, if you wouldn't
Yes, Captain.
mind leading us into the jungle. We have a ship to take.
Gladly, Captain. And he will raise his yellow star plasma array.
I thought you were gonna say he will raise his Stratocaster and start
And then
playing
he just...
Welcome.
You wanted jungle metal? Let's do this! No, he doesn't have a fucking amp right now. He's gonna have to figure that out later. And he puts the guitar on his back and just starts going through the fucking jungle. So he's got his yellow star plasma array out, and he's just walking through, looking for wildlife threats that he will just shoot instantly if he sees anything that's going to bother them or impede their progress to this ship, and he'll move with all speed.
All right, so you guys start hustling there. As you're going, there's just these weird sounds all around you, and you hear chittering, bubbling sounds all around, and you're like, please make this be over fast, because you don't want to be in the jungle for too long. And eventually, after going about 10-15 minutes hustling, you see the ship, and it looks like someone's rib cage exploded outward, just a mass of fragmented bone shards all jutting in odd angles in different directions, with this ominous looking red dome-shaped canopy covering the bridge. Give me a culture check if you're a cultural person.
That's so cool. Whose job is that? Whose job is like over at Paizo, or if they outsource it, they're like, we need you to design 80 badass starships of all different kinds. You know what I mean? Like, what a fun thing to do. Stressful, I imagine, but what a cool thing.
I love about it is the differentiation that happens kind of like in StarCraft, like when you get to Zerg ships versus the Terran ships, and like that's what it feels like seeing in Eox. It's so gross.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
rolled
yes.
a nat 20 first roll of the ep. I feel so good about myself.
There you go,
And Callum, It's something I never use. I forget. I did put points into culture, so that's a 27, and I think it's because Callum bounced around a lot, even though he's young and he's seen a lot of weird stuff that he's kind of like absorbed like a sponge.
Did some time with the corpse fleet. But yeah, he definitely would have been around enough to know about the corpse fleet and their relationship with the Pack Worlds. And so somewhere in your collective memory, this is a ship known as a Blackwind Sepulchre. It is a ship meant to carry Marines.
And he relays that. I think he's kind of like, when a kid loves guns and it's a little weird, like he's like, oh, this is... I know what this is. I've seen these before. Yeah. These carry Marines. Yeah, these are heavily. Yeah, this is like artillery based.
Subscribes to Jane's.
It's a military dropship. There could be more troopers on board, though unlikely.
Proceed with caution.
Steve did warn us before he and she can't even fucking say it. He warned us that more are coming. I don't know. We should be on your guard.
Okay.
You walk towards the ship, the ominous red eye of the ship staring at all of you as you go towards what you assume is the entrance, this gaping hole between bones. You walk up like a bunch of long femurs that look like steps to get into the ship. And what's the party order? You go in 2 by 2, single file, V formation.
2 by 2.
Yeah, I'll be next to Kreska. I'm assuming we're probably towards the back. Matthew, you tell me.
Probably towards the back.
Linnea, you want to come with me?
Yes, and she gives Friss an anxious look of like he's guarding her child basically, but lover in this case. So never mind. And she'll go to Dax.
Your relationship with Steve is nothing but strange.
Yeah.
Top to bottom.
It's getting more complicated.
It's getting more and more complicated.
I thought Callum was your child.
Yeah, no, I messed up the backstory again.
But now I'm like your brother, and Steve's like your child.
My sister, my daughter, my sister.
Like the John Mayer
so
song.
confused about the emotions.
Chris rolls his eyes and pats his vest pocket where Steve currently lies.
Quiet, my child. All right, so Linnea and Dax come on first with Sayun and Dr. Friss in the middle and Kreska and Callum in the rear, and you're looking all around you, weapons drawn, spell hands ready in some cases, and you get on the ship. Are you heading towards the bridge? It's dark in there, just like red light illuminating everything, probably mostly from the light coming in from the bridge. It's just giving everything a red glow.
Yes, to the bridge.
To the bridge.
All right,
Take it to the bridge.
Take it to the bridge. You walk inside and you see this writhing creature, pale skinned and wired directly into the controls, with nodes covering its eyes and other vital areas all over, and wires running directly into its skull. And it's just like...
Doctor, have you ever seen anything like this before?
Has the doctor seen anything like this before?
Give me this would be a mysticism roll.
Oh,
Yeah,
I can do that
figure.
too.
So yeah, Friss, you're like, I don't know.
Not his strong suit.
Yeah.
11.
Yeah, no.
35.
Sayun gets a 37.
Okay, coming in hot.
Oh, I know
love
who
this.
the new captain's gonna be.
Friss, you're stymied by it. Like, the corpse fleet has a lot of crazy undead stuff going on, but this is out of your purview. Kreska, and then somewhere in Sayun's implanted memories, this is a cybernetic zombie.
Whoa.
They are
What?
they are used to, like, controls can be sent. They're wired directly into the ship, and they can be used to communicate with the rest of the armada in this case.
Does each like have a zombie, and they're all like hive mind zombie stuff?
Possibly. You know,
would that be
you would think the zombie takes care of a lot of. It's like an efficiency zombie. Having the zombie there can do things for you.
This is so funny. We're rewatching Battlestar Galactica, and this is the same system that the Cylons use.
Yeah, that's what I was
in the
thinking
reboot.
too.
Yeah, as the hybrids was controlling the ships. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Is there a reason for us to be concerned that that it would expose us if we tried to fly? If we tried to fly up there, would it communicate to the other members of the corpse fleet that we weren't?
You both rolled so high, you would know that most likely not.
It's not sentient in and of itself to communicate anything.
It takes orders, receives information, and does things.
It's like a computer.
That's not to say that if they get wise to what you're doing, they couldn't maybe communicate with the zombie like, who's on that ship? But it is not a sentient creature.
Order it to self-destruct from afar, remote self-destruct.
Are there inputs? Like, how do you fly the ship?
There is a computer system. It's a little bit different than the Sarissa, but a lot of it is cosmetic. Like we're still dealing with computers here. It's just everything is bones and jagged angles.
I'm thrilled you didn't say you stick one hand in its mouth and the other in its left ear, and then you pull down on the jaw, and then it takes off.
Does Dax,
Get in a zombie.
does Dax think he could fly it?
You're like, does anybody know how to drive a stick?
I do.
Dax.
My dad had a cybernetic zombie.
That's what I learned on.
Yeah, I learned on a cybernetic zombie.
My first girlfriend taught me how to use cybernetic zombie. Yeah, if it's got wings, you can fly it.
All right.
But you're going to need a computer specialist to get this thing hacked. And this is tricky. Friss, give me a general perception here, just coming up to computers, like assessing if there's countermeasures or what general information you can get.
Perception, that is a 31.
Okay. The good news is you don't see any countermeasures in place if you screw up. You feel like if you really did a bad check, there's a chance you could lock yourself up, but the worst that would happen is it would slow you down, because you'd have to wait for however long until you could try hacking again. It seems like you have two options. You can try a separate computer's check in order to unlock each role from captain to gunner to science officer, engineer, magic officer, and chief mate. Or you could try a much more difficult check to try and gain root access to the Blackwind Sepulchre's I'm in so much trouble with that word, Sepulchre's computers, which would allow you to unlock all roles in one hit. It's just a harder roll, but you could have your friends try and aid you.
Okay, so I think Friss is thrown off initially by this. He hates stuff like this because he's so used to being knowledgeable and good at everything, and this is the one area that just baffles him. He can't wrap his mind around it. So he's just really thrown off, but he's just like kind of getting his bearings when he's just like, okay, wait, I can do this. I think I can do this. And he explains the situation. And he says, like, because the captain says, what do you think I should do? Go for root access or go one by one? How much time do we have? How much faith do you have in me?
I have immense faith in you, Doctor. Would you accept help from some of us?
Of course.
I can't aid, but can anyone else aid?
In computers?
Yeah.
Yes, Dax can aid. I'm here for you, Doctor.
Meanwhile,
where
the
I need to
zombie is
go.
just twitching the whole time.
Let me take a look at this.
Perhaps root access would be the riskier, but higher reward option.
I recommend we go for root access, Captain. It is going to give us the most control over future decisions that we have not yet encountered.
Very well.
Seiyan ghost-like slides up behind Dr. Friss, not knowing his name, and sees him about to access the terminal, and will pull out her personal computer and say, "I'm ready to assist."
Yeah, your memories, whatever are implanted in you, there's no memories of Friss and Kreska and Dax. This all happened from Stanbeck implanting these memories.
Yeah, Dax doesn't know what to say at all. He's just like, he was following the captain's lead because, like, whenever this kind of weird, like, interpersonal stuff happens that he's, like, unsure of, he just follows the lead of other people, and he's like, Captain didn't say anything about, like, your mission, Why don't you just say that? So he's just like following that lead, but he doesn't know what to say. He's just like, okay, I'm just going to focus on the problem at hand. And he'll try to aid in computers.
Yeah, I think Friss is kind of the same thing. He's like, we have more immediate issues, but this is the next order of business. Is figuring out who this is.
I think Kreska is kind of going to eventually defer to the doctor about what's going on, but for the meantime, it seems like best not to
Chris is hoping right now. It's just like he hopes there's some kind of mid-B. He wants to do a thorough scan and psychological workup of this creature.
I got a 12. I can never remember if it's 10 or 15 to
10.
aid.
DC 10.
All right, so Dax aids.
I aid with a 32.
Okay.
So that's +4. Anybody else throwing their hat in the ring? Have any skill in computers? No.
I could try. I mean, it's not high, but why not?
Yeah, you might as well try.
Sure.
There's no penalty for
Nope,
you.
that's going to be a 9.
Okay.
So +4.
Okay. Here we go.
No.
Motherfucker. Got Norse founded again.
Norse Foundry again.
For all your random number generating needs, as long as you don't need anything higher than a 5.
No.
32.
32. It's time to take a word from our sponsors, I think.
Norse foundry.
We're back. And I imagine if that was an actual commercial break, we come back and Friss is just slamming his head against the dashboard. God, just, I'm useless, the crew's useless, what am I gonna do?
It's the scene from Office Space.
Kreska, meanwhile, you're just staring at the zombie, thinking like, if only I could control the zombie, maybe I could bypass all of this.
Is there a way to do it telepathically? I mean, it's undead, so is there a mind to
A mysticism
access?
check?
Do you want a separate mysticism?
Give me a
check?
mysticism check.
Natty 16 for 35.
35.
Again.
You would need some sort of magic that may not be accessible to you, depending on what you've taken, or your new companion, Seiyun. Seems like she's displaying techno-magical things.
I mean,
You need
I don't
something
know
more
if this
mystic.
matters, but would an at-will ability to cast telepathic bond have any be able to help in this situation?
The problem is they're mindless, right, David?
Yep. I
Yeah.
would say those same immunities would apply there.
Question. How about what would happen if we touch it, like see if we can rewire, like they do in Battlestar Galactica. They start driving it by figuring out how to move the muscles, basically. Kind of cool. It's kind of disgusting.
Question. I don't know if this would work either. It's just a cantrip too. It might not be helpful at all, but with grave words, it's for a corpse. Could I potentially try to use that on the zombie just to see if the zombie will like talk or give any information whatsoever?
It's interesting.
Or is it
That's
like a
for
muscle?
corpse.
Or is it like a muscle? Like a dead muscle? Or is it
The spell doesn't affect a corpse that has been turned into an undead creature is the last line of that spell. So it's such a cool idea.
Yes.
But yeah, in this case, it's undead. So you really need a spell that can control undead.
But I mean, with the
How about-
35 mysticism, we don't know the spell?
Control undead. Turn undead.
Oh,
Something
really?
like that, yeah.
Oh, okay.
What about command undead? Control
Absolutely.
undead is a 6th level spell, but Mei Shun has access to command undead.
That would work. Is it at you're a a spontaneous caster? Like you can just do it?
It's
have
on her list right now.
I have command undead as well. It was one of the spells I traded out, I believe.
Looks like you can drive this ship any way you want.
really?
Maybe back to Absalom Station. But yeah, if you cast Command Undead, let me know. We'll talk. We'll have a conversation amongst friends.
I imagine it's so cute if Seiyun and Kreska both put little hands on the wheel and they both like command the zombie.
So
You make
maybe
the zombie
maybe
dance around like Bernie.
maybe Kreska turns to Seiyun and is like as part of the mysticism check, she's like, "Do you think
Yes.
a command undead spell would work here?"
I don't know why I know Kreskaletha, but I think so. And just as a roundabout way, it is interesting. The numbers revealed this. Kreska and Seiyun have the same mysticism bonus. So, like, they're like equal levels of understanding from a different route of doing so. And Command Undead has a DC attached to it, so it would allow us both to cast.
Well,
Try it and see what happens.
Well, it depends if, Troy, if you reason that it's an intelligent undead or is it unintelligent?
Is
You
the
might need to
DC
save.
different?
Yes. Well, no. In one case, there's a save. In the other case, there isn't.
Okay, it is unintelligent.
Okay, no save needed. And you can give it
Nice.
basic commands with just a casting. Like, come here, go, fight, stand still. It won't, unintelligent undead won't resist suicidal or obviously harmful orders, which have fun with that too.
Most importantly
Could
for
we-
you would be able to unlock all the crew roles.
That's what I was gonna say. Can we give it a command to give us access to the computers to give Chris another check to get us in?
You don't even need to do that. You can just tell it to unlock it, and it will. You can all get on your station.
Fire up the ship.
Would you, Seiyun, would you like to do the honors, or shall I?
I follow in your lead, Kreskaleta.
Very well. I will cast Command Undead and just give it the command to unlock all systems.
And you just see all of the different stations around the bridge just light up
So
and buzz.
awesome.
And the zombie just twitches in its seat as the nodes send electricity throughout the ship.
Dax,
Awesome.
shall we go see
Hi, Captain.
what's going on with this stellar degenerator?
Yes. All right. So he's going to get in, sit down, get familiar with the controls. This is awesome because now, like, we can fly right through this fleet. Hopefully, they won't pick up on our deception. All right. Can he just fly it, Troy? Is it pretty standard Pact Worlds control schemes?
Oh, yeah. It takes you a second to kind of get your footing, be like, oh, yeah, I know how this baby goes.
I know this.
One thing you all notice is, like all Corpse Fleet ships, it's completely open to the air. So you need to use the environmental protections of your suits, or you will explode once you leave this atmosphere. So keep that in mind.
So fucked up.
I don't know if you have a limited use on those things or not, but depending on what your plan is here, you're gonna have to be in the vacuum of space.
In pressure suits.
Yeah.
I would argue that like if there's energy and electricity on the ship, we would be able to like charge. All the time.
Absolutely.
I love it because Ellie herself is so afraid of outer space. She's trying to negotiate any way out of this that she can.
I think there's also.
Yeah, go ahead, Ellie.
I was gonna say, and I also would argue that would we have time to build a roof? So we don't have to.
You were doing so well. You should have just quit. Charging station, I was on board for, but no roof.
Who knew to fully pressurize and have environmental controls within a ship set for outer space? All it needed was a roof.
I
Like a
think
corrugated roof.
Corrugated roof.
My concern is less about breathing because all of our suits can do that. But will we have any? I mean, like if we do a high G maneuver, like there's no atmosphere in the
Are there
ship.
any inertial dampers or anything?
Yeah.
There must be some sort of technology.
Yeah.
What
So
about
this
radiation? What about cosmic
Yeah,
radiation?
we're cosmic radiation.
Yeah.
but
My suit
Our
protects against that too. I'm good.
Yeah, I think your
sure?
suits all have radiation protection. Up to a certain time, it's not like, all right, here's the rest of our lives living in this ship. That wouldn't work because eventually you'd deplete the power core if you kept recharging the suit as well.
the two things on the armor that we haven't visited since Castrovel is the number of charges. So at our high level charges, for example, my armor has 264 charges of environmental protection. So that's 264 hours. And then, Troy's correct. It's low levels of radiation and a +4 bonus against higher levels of radiation. An armor of 7th level and higher grants immunity to medium radiation levels and provides a +6 bonus. So everyone might have level 7 at this point.
God.
I
was
do.
that?
Mine's level 12.
What was that planet
Jesus.
where it was like tick, 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 your Geiger counter was you were really close to high radiation?
Eox.
Was it Eox?
Oh, Oh yeah.
I remember,
Yeah.
like, it feels like forever ago, but I remember
Yeah,
having to
yeah.
roll because PG got radiation sickness and then
That's
some other
right.
disease, and then it was like you have to. It was an insane save. It was like 6 die
Yeah.
rolls to not go further down.
I think you
on the
went into
ladder.
the final fight still sick, like you were coming
Yeah.
down from the radio. Yeah, that's right. And also remember, this goes back to our first Starship combat when you had that ship that you borrowed from Absalom Station, and the operative had stolen the android operative had stolen one of those single flyer corpse ships or
yeah.
bone ships that was open to the air, but whereas an android, they didn't have to worry about breathing in the vacuum of space. Anyways, this is your ship now, and you can just like put your hand out, and your hand is outside of the ship, so you know once you leave the atmosphere, you're just going to be exposed to space.
I do that thing like where you put your hand out the side of side of the car while you're driving, and you fly your hand.
As Dax takes her up.
All right.
Yeah, talk to me.
Let's go. He is going to fly straight toward the stellar degenerator.
All right. Well, let's see if
Question.
that's still your plan when you leave the atmosphere. Because
Question.
yes,
Before if we're then exposed to space, is there any like suits or anything that we can cover ourselves up as well? Because then they would be able to see us.
you don't have to worry about that as much. That's a good point. But there's so much going on in the ship. The greater fear is the being exposed to space. Not like, hey, wait a minute.
Well, it's
Those
also
are our Marines.
but it's also like
Get
the
'em.
sheer scale of it. Like they would
That's
have
true.
to be right next to you, and ships do not fly right next to each other in space.
Yeah, it's not like the highway. But to
Yeah.
be safe, we should dress ourselves up in skeleton costumes like the kids in Karate Kid.
Let's do it.
The
So ordered.
for detection, I think the biggest problem will be is that a normal Eoxian ship would not show up any living signatures on it.
That's true.
So if we get scanned by a ship directly, I think we'd light up like a Christmas tree.
We
But
can
if
also
they've hailed us, we could say, "Oh, we have prisoners aboard."
That's what I would say. We can have the zombie broadcasts, the information that we've captured some
Yeah.
life.
Oh,
some
and
prisoners
Dax.
on
And
the planet.
undead.
And Dax can show up. I don't know if androids show up. They wouldn't show up as undead, but they might show up as like a different life signature. So
He
could-
shows up. Dax shows up as undead.
perfect.
Your brains are in the right space. Remember these thoughts as we get into space, because once you leave the atmosphere and you start heading towards this battle that is happening above the controller moon, you see that the surrounding space is constantly illuminated by flaring beams of energy that are lashing out from the system's controller moons. Not only the moon that you are exiting, but all of the moons that make up the Gate of the 12 Suns. Gouts of incandescent flame pulled from the suns by gravitational pulses. The ancient weapons are wildly inaccurate, you can see, and firing haphazardly at the corpse fleet armada. Oftentimes you'll see a flare come up and it fades out before it even reaches the intended target, or it just detonates in apparently empty space. But even so, the corpse fleet armada, you can see, is beginning to show signs of extensive damage from this archaic defense system. Now that you're up there and you see this war going on, you can see that the largest of the corpse fleet vessels, the one that you saw on the monitor back in the station, it's bigger than any space station you've ever seen. It's absolutely huge, and it's surrounded by explosions, debris from ships that have exploded, and then debris from its own hull and from the escort ships that were flying around it, and they were destroyed trying to protect it. And so it's forming a cloud that would block most of your effort to even get a clear image of the exact shape of this vessel, because it's weird, similar to the sepulcher that you're on. However, blasts from the Ultranaut clearly mark it as the most effective member of the Armada. So while all these other ships are fighting against these defense mechanisms, from time to time you'll see just boom, blasts come down, and like a whole defense system of a planet will be taken out. So the mothership is clearly the most dangerous. It's not just there to house all of the other ships.
Oh, Jesus.
Go ahead and give a scan of the main ship. I think that would be Friss.
Yeah.
Science officer.
Finally.
With so much going on here and the debris floating around, you feel like you got a chance here before you do what you want to do.
41 computers.
41 computers. Okay. That's actually really, really good. So you're scanning it from the sepulcher, and you can see that this massive vessel is known as the Empire of Bones. And it's bigger than even a colossal starship. It is practically bristling with capital weapons. And
Is this like the flagship of the corpse fleet?
Is it like
at least of this wing of it.
is it like the I don't want to say it because I know Joe gets mad, but like the big round super weapon thingy in a very popular Disney franchise? Is it like
like a Star Destroyer? Like an Imperial Star Destroyer?
Oh, Death Star.
The Death Star. Well, it's not circular. It kind of has more of the Imperial Star Destroyer feel to it, and in both size and scope, but with the weapons of a Death Star on it. Well, actually, no. The Stellar Generator is more of the Death Star planet destroyer, and this is more of an Imperial Star Destroyer. That's right. This is
The Executor.
Androids and Aliens, a Star Wars podcast.
An officially licensed Star Wars RPG
First
podcast.
officially licensed Star Wars podcast. So, Friss, and answer your question, the thing about the corpse fleet is like no one quite knows what their deal is. Like they know it's out there. They know that they're not signatory to the Pact Worlds. It is very possible this is the mothership of the corpse fleet. It's also possible that they've got dozens of these all throughout the universe just waiting to do stuff like this. You also notice that similar to your ship, this entire ship contains no atmosphere. So it's like a small city. The many explosions of the ongoing battle look to be partially clouding the sensors of the Empire of Bones. Because many of its weapons are trained on the ancient Kishali defenses. So
Amazing.
it might be possible to slip in closer to the vessel and board it without anyone noticing.
Oh man.
That would be so
jeez.
cool.
I can hear Friss saying this all.
Yeah.
You can
Max just rips out his guitar.
There's no time.
It's like, yes.
You can intuit from your check that a medium or smaller starship like the one you're on that could land on the hull of the Empire of Bones could remain there probably undetected for an extended period of time, depending on what type of security is in place there. The good thing for you is there's so much going on right now, there's no time like the present to try and pull off a maneuver like this. And because you rolled so high, you also know that the Empire of Bones has several hangar bays along its length, one of which is currently launching a small squadron of fighters, which leaves a wide open entryway protected by a minor force field that keeps out space debris. So a ship your size could land in that bay no prob. Alternatively, you could attach yourselves to the ship and spacewalk over to that bay if you so choose.
If we hurry, there's an empty bay. Should be able to get in undetected.
Dax, you think you can handle that kind of maneuver?
I see it, Captain. There's plenty of room. All right, he punches the impulse engines, and everybody but him flies out the side of the vessel. Because of how stupidly designed this ship is.
Exactly. We forgot to put on the seatbelt.
Yeah, exactly.
Did
they
anybody
do
say-
staple themselves to the floor? Like,
What about micro debris in space when you're traveling at near light speeds? What about that?
Yeah, if you destroy something It's do they have shields? Well, do they have shields? Surely this ship has shields.
The ship has shields.
I love the fact that they also like material. Why would bone be a good material for a spaceship as well? Like, I don't know.
Can't you just pay the extra $5 and enclose the whole thing in bone?
Let's stop ruining the game
Fly
with
around in convertibles. All right, I'm sorry.
I think it's very cool though. I must say this is the coolest thing I've ever heard in my life.
That's cool. They all
wanna
fly around in
board-
T-tops. That's awesome.
I want to board like the bone Death Star. That's what I want to do.
yes.
Here,
All right, Dax will pull it in.
Before
if
you go
it's
to
not-
Bone Town, hold on and look
I'm
in
gonna go down to Bone Town.
Look in the Skype chat, and I'll actually I'll send you a link to the stats of this ship. And you will see it is not the Sarissa. It is
No, that's
It
a
is-
serious step down.
How did you say that?
serious step
How
down.
did you say it? Sepulture?
Sepulcher.
Yeah,
Sepulcher.
I've heard
Sepulcher.
sepulture, but I think sepulcher is
Sepulcher is correct.
It's just harder to say. The pulch. You want to say pulch? It just flows on the tongue, but it's sepulcher. Sepulcher.
You know, pulcher is Latin for beauty.
Oh well, it's
that's
the
not
ship
what
is
this
anything
is.
but.
Yeah, that's right.
It's funny. Pulcher sounds like a very bad word to describe something beautiful. You're so pulcher.
Right.
Poker.
So you can see that this ship is not, certainly not the Sarissa. I mean, it's not even as good as the Sarissa when you found it as the Sunrise Maiden, I don't think. Obviously, you've made a number of alterations and upgrades.
It's almost identical to when we found the Sarissa, if memory serves.
similar.
Yeah.
But what is going on in front of you, all these other ships are slightly more badass. And what you notice, Dax, before you're ready to kick it into high gear to fly directly at the Ultranaut, the Empire of Bones, between you and the mothership, your scanners are picking up 4 ships known as Crypt Wardens that are patrolling the space in front of you and the ship. Now, while the Sarissa may have had a fighting chance against these 4 ships, your current ship is of a much lower tier and would be completely outmatched against one of them, let alone 4 of them. Not to mention, depending on how you do this, if you arouse the suspicion of the Ultranaut, you know they could fire one shot at you and your ship would be dust with all of you in it. Luckily for you, they're very busy at the moment. Based on where you are and the speed of your ship, it will take you, in game terms, 4 rounds to fly to this open hangar bay that Frisk found. As soon as you enter the airspace, though, here, one of the Crypt Wardens sends you a communication requesting clearance codes.
Oh God.
And now, a much better version of Starship Combat for radio commences.
I'm endangering the mission. I shouldn't have come.
Can we just
Get all those quotes ready. It's happening.
Callum looks at Kreska and he's like, can you just tell the zombie computer to tell him the codes?
I hope so.
Let me tell you what you can do. Each of you will have certain things you can do and certain things you can't do. We're still going to be moving in normal Starship Combat rounds from... where are my notes here? What are the rounds? It goes engineering, helm, and then gunnery? Yeah, engineering, helm, and gunnery, but it's going to work a little bit differently. So... this mini game, for lack of a better word, will work a bit differently because it all comes down to the crew finding ways to assist the captain, who, at the end of each helm phase, will need to attempt to send a garbled communication that will hopefully appear to be legitimate corpse fleet identification. Barring any changes in the flight patterns of the Crypt Wardens and your own ship, you're going to have to do this 4 times, 1 for each ship, as you creep towards the Empire of Bones and try not to arouse suspicion. Should you fail one of these communications, well, we'll just cross that bridge when we come to it. But your crew roles will change for this game. So the captain, whoever is the captain for this game, because you may decide Kreska might not be the one for this job, your skill is garbled communication. You can transmit an intentionally garbled communication that appears to be a legitimate corpse fleet identification. You need a bluff check to convincingly answer the crypt warden who has just answered a challenge to you. If you fail it, again, we'll talk about that later. The engineer can do something known as a fake glitch. You can fake a glitch in one of your systems, such as communications or sensors, and if you succeed, it will prevent the nearest corpse fleet ship from insisting on direct communication, which is essentially going to give your captain a bonus to their bluff check. So it's all the other people are doing things to support this one bluff check that the captain will have to do. And then if you fail, there are others of you that will be able to do things to try and save the situation. If you're the gunner, you can do cover fire. You can basically use the Sepulchre's weapons to provide cover fire for other corpse fleet ships, so it makes it look like you're attempting to protect the fleet from the Gate of the 12 Suns defenses. So you'll have to roll a gunnery check against a certain AC, and if you succeed, your captain will get to roll twice and take the better on the bluff check.
Cool.
Nice. That's so awesome.
Fucking
Did you guys come
awesome.
up with this yourself?
No, it's in the book, but David and I made some adjustments. I forgot to send you the new adjustments that I made, David, so you'll enjoy this too.
Okay.
Dax, you're going to love this one, or whoever ends up being the pilot. Fly casual. You
Fly keep it cool. The cops are coming, man. Just look act natural.
Keep your distance, but don't look like you're
Like
trying
you're
to keep
keeping
your
your
distance.
Fly casual.
I don't know. Fly casual.
This is a big one. You emulate the flight pattern of the Armada ship. So as you're approaching, you're watching them, and you're like, I can make it look like we're one of them. So you don't expose your ship to too much scrutiny, nor show any sign of attempting to avoid scrutiny. So you have to roll a piloting check, and if you succeed, the captain gets a real healthy boost to the bluff check.
Very cool.
You could also, as the pilot, just decide to do a piloting check in place of the captain's garbled communication. That's up to the captain. A lot more dangerous, more difficult check. Science officer. One of the things you could do, I had this one, it's called, it's an older sign, but it checks out. You roll a computer's check, and it adds a unique coding to the captain's transmission that appears to be a clear communication. And it adds a bonus to the captain's bluff check. The magic officer can create disturbance. You basically roll a mysticism check to tap into the magical energy of the cosmos and channel it into aiding the mission. And that bonus can be given to anyone's check. And then the chief mate, calming presence. You roll a diplomacy check. This one I did just because I knew Ellie was going to be the chief mate. It's an open-ended bonus based on how good your role play is.
Come on.
Amazing.
So you got to roll the diplomacy check. You got to hit the diplomacy check, and then if you really boost somebody's confidence, they'll get a better or a worse bonus.
So Troy, you devious little bastard, I actually have a skill that I haven't used yet in this game, so it might not actually work. We'll see.
Let's find out. Boom, we are in the engineering phase. The communication has come through. Captain, you have to answer it. It's in the engineering phase? No, in the helm phase, right?
You said at the end of the helm phase.
Yeah, at the end of the helm phase, even though you can act in any round, you are tied in if you choose to be the captain, if you feel confident with your bluff check, or if you think you're endangering the mission and need to put somebody else in the captain chair, you can.
So what's everyone's bluff bonus?
Dax is out.
I'm
You're
plus
out, Tom.
6. I'm plus 16.
You're out, Tom.
I'm plus 17.
Okay.
I'm also plus 17.
All right, so Kreska's the right lizard for the job. So basically, in this first round, the gunner will not be able to help. And the captain has to act at the end of the helm round. The gunner, whoever is in the gunnery position, will start working towards the next round's check, assuming you pass this first one. So it is the
What
engineering
about
phase.
Science officer, chief mate, magic officer. When can they go?
The
Science
engineer
officer.
and the magic officer can go in the engineering phase. The pilot and the silence officer can go in the helm phase, and the chief mate can act whenever they want to aid someone.
Okay.
So in either phase. Or maybe Chief May wants to wait around to the gunnery phase. Who knows? What chairs are everyone sitting in to begin? Now, don't forget, just like regular Starship combat, you can move, you can switch chairs. But where are you to start? Kreska, you've got the con. Do you start ordering people around?
I mean, it seems like everyone's going to be well suited to their roles, right? Like Dax should be the pilot.
You have a bluff?
Yes, I have a good bluff.
Oh, good.
Friss and I are tied, but then I think, but I don't have Friss's computers.
Yeah. I'm more useful elsewhere, so.
Okay.
So who's engineer? And
We
who's
definitely
science
don't
officer?
have one right now, do we?
Yeah.
Dax could do it.
But then you can't
I don't think you
pilot.
can occupy more than one seat in a
No,
single
you
round.
can't. But I'm saying that would be instead of piloting.
What was the engineer? The engineer was to the science officer did
The
it's an older
engineer
code.
fakes a glitch.
And it just gives you a bonus on the bluff check.
Yeah.
I would focus on the one that lets you roll twice. That's going to be the most
Yeah.
important one.
Yeah.
And
Is
then,
that's the science officer one?
yeah, the garbled communication. Right?
No, that's the engineer action is the fake glitch. And the science officer is, it's an older sign, but it checks out. Computers
Yeah,
check.
But which one lets you roll twice and take the better if you succeed?
Gunner.
That's the gunner.
Oh.
So
Yeah, because you make it look like, oh, take that, Kishali defense. And they're like, oh, all right, so you get a bit of luck, basically.
Yeah. All right.
Is Grant? What seat are you taking?
So, say Yun was going to defer to your leadership, Kreskaletta. I'll let you know, just, it could be anywhere. It's a plus 18 piloting, plus 19 mysticism, plus 17 engineering, plus 22 computers. I think those are all the skills for all the seats, right?
and Skid, what's your computers?
Computer 23.
Yeah. So why don't you be our engineer, Sam?
Not magic officer? Because that's mysticism based.
Well, Callum is magical.
Oh,
You
okay.
do have better mysticism than me. I mean, I have plus 15, but it's like
Oh, no, that's
whatever.
great. I'll do
Can't do
engineering. then.
yeah,
I'll
I
do
can't do
engineering.
it.
Very
All
cool.
right, so it is
All right,
the
and I
engineering
guess-
phase. Are you
And I
chief
guess
mate?
I'm chief mate.
So, Linnea, you step in whenever you need to give a rousing a boost to someone, and then you'll roll the diplomacy check, and we'll see what happens. But it is the engineering phase, which means the engineer, the magic officer, and the chief mate, if they so choose, can act. So, engineer, try and fake a glitch.
This
It's
is
an engineering check.
also perfect based off of the little bit of story you got at the beginning of Seiyan escaping the ship. So she might specialize in these little blips and glitches in reality itself. Here it comes. 19 on the die for a 36.
Nice.
You get a +2 to your bluff.
The dumbest thing we did here was not make Grant captain.
+2 to the bluff check.
We could be inside the ship in real world time of about 4 minutes if he was the captain.
We wouldn't even take the other rounds. We just have Graham roll 4 times.
Callum, you are now on this bone ship. You were the one that somewhere in your memory remembered what kind of ship this was and what it was meant to do. Carry Marines down to unsuspecting worlds to rob them of their lives. Now you must try to tap into the cosmos with a mysticism check to aid the mission.
Here we go. I just gotta do math. That's gonna be 27.
Another +2 to your check. You do have the option, Callum, to give that to anyone. I will assume right now, under the circumstances, you want to give that to Kreska. But if later people start flubbing, like, when it comes to a gunner that might make a mistake, or somebody else is struggling, you might want to move that around. Chief Mate, you good to move on to the helm phase?
I think so.
All right, it is the helm phase. At the end of this phase, the captain will attempt her first garbled communication. You know what? Why don't we go to the map?
Ooh.
Yeah. There she is.
Whoa. Cool.
Oh, dang.
Ooh, and
Wow.
what's the bottle caps?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, David.
Bottle caps.
Let's take it to our good friend, Dr. David Winters, Esquire III, to tell us about this amazing bottle cap system you've added to our Roll20.
Well, firstly, it's not the 3rd; it's the 6th. So let's not cut out my lineage. But more specifically, I basically added there's a little functionality in Roll20, which are like card decks. But instead of doing normal playing cards, I just did bottle caps. That way, which I know has come up, it's going to be a lot easier to track these things, know who has them, shake people down for them, and hopefully Troy to remember to actually pass some out. But Troy and I have the ability to simply drag these puppies over to people, and you can just stack bottle caps onto their character. And conversely, when you want to spend them, you just click on them and drag them off to the table.
Wow.
They can be deleted.
Oh, that's great.
What a tool!
Nice
I'm sure,
work.
Nice job, man.
David.
I'm sure Troy will use it so much.
You know what, David? I'm going to give you a bottle cap for this.
Oh,
This is
nice.
great. It's a David cap. You can use it any way you want. Just don't give it to any of the players.
Okay.
So this is your ship here. This is the actual sepulcher. Pretty cool.
What's
Very
the
cool.
front?
The front is this ominous eye here.
Got it. Is that the bridge towards the back?
Yeah, so that's where no, you're sitting near the eye. The bridge is behind this bulbous sphincter. And then these are these crypt wardens that are guarding the space between you and the ship.
I'm getting Independence Day
Vibes.
right now.
Yeah.
Vibes, yeah.
For sure.
It kind of looks like the Batwing if Batman was a skeleton. And then you only see a little shadow here of the mothership, but here is what she looks like full.
Oh, wow.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, jeez. I mean,
Jeez.
that is, it kind of has this looks like a bone guitar.
Yes.
It's got it's a bit of a heavy metal bone guitar.
Yeah.
That's what I think. That's
I
for
can't
our
tell if
audio
he's being
listeners.
serious.
A little something for the audio listeners. Imagine a heavy metal bone guitar. All right. So there you are. 1, 2, 3, 4 crypt wardens. Right now, Kreska's sitting on a +4 bone guitar.
But and Kreska goes last in this round.
Kreska goes last. So it's up to the pilot, and I would assume the chief mate, to fly casual and boost.
And the science officer.
Calming presence. Yes, the science officer as well. Did I not write that? Yeah, science officer. So science officer and pilot can decide who goes first. Fly casual and send an older code.
I'll try to send an older code first.
All right, so Frisk starts hacking away to try and change the code. Roll a computers check.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
43.
Another +2 to your bluff check. Dax, can you fly casual?
Fly casual. Yeah, I imagine he's looking at the readouts of their flight patterns and he's just like instantaneously making calculations. Their speed, he matches immediately. Their turn radius, he matches immediately. And he just sort of tries to follow in terms of mathematics to start. There you go. Natural 2!
Fuck, I was just about
You
to...
always know he's there to ruin everything for everyone. That's what he's there for.
Where is that shuttle going?
22.
No help from the pilot, who's just dun, 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 dun.
No, he's not.
Why is that ship doing a barrel roll?
Joyriding 15-year-old.
So unfortunately, no bonus, but maybe your chief mate turns to you and has some words that will uplift you in the moment.
So,
Linnea,
Linnea has a skill called Acrobatic Grace, which means she can use her acrobatics instead of diplomacy roll.
I like where this is going, Ellie.
It's a sense-dependent rather than language-dependent effect.
Skid is lost.
And I had
Picturing what's about to happen.
well, so here's the thing. I'm like, how the hell do I do this? Like, do I stretch in front of someone? Or do I? How
Put
do I
your
not
leg
make
up on the bar.
Luckily, there's a set of uneven bars on the bridge.
Is that Simone Biles?
Just put your leg up. So, Captain, how are you feeling? You think you can do this? My hammies are killing me. Fight with the
I didn't know
Marines.
you were so flexible.
Yeah, no, she's gonna, and so, but I think she's actually gonna put her hand on Kreska.
Can you do a back handspring?
I can. Yeah, she starts cartwheeling.
Bet if she could do that, I could do anything.
You need some inspiration there, Captain? And she walks over to you.
You need some inspiration.
Oh, God. Just walks over. Keep going.
Keep going. Don't stop.
Don't stop
Oh, God,
now.
are you sure? All right,
Yeah.
she walks over and puts a hand on your shoulder and says, "You've taken us this far, Captain. I think you can take us further." And then she gives you, like, I don't know, some people can, like, with one touch, they can really make you feel really good. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so that's what she's gonna do. Not in a sexual way, Matthew. Calm down. I can see he's freaking out. But, like, in a pleasurable way. That could... Okay, you know what I'm saying. So she's gonna do that.
All right, so
So in a sexual way.
Not all pleasure needs to be sexual.
No, like a massage. Like you loosen Kreska up so she can make the right choice.
She
you step
doesn't do-
over and give Captain K the old backdoor stranger.
Yeah. She doesn't. It's not like she's licking her or something. Like it's not like it's not like that. It's just
Give
a
me that
touch.
acrobatics check.
Ooh, natty 19 plus 16. So yeah, that's a really nice touch.
It was a nice touch. Did it really encapsulate the acrobatic nature of the diplomacy check?
Kreska is rather tall, so she would have had to be acrobatic to reach her shoulder.
That's fair. I'm going to give you a +2. Those are your bonuses. I believe you're at a +8.
A +8.
Oh, come on.
The communication is coming through. You need to send a code back. Friss has altered it. The magic of the universe is on your side. You feel empowered by Linnea's touch, and you try to hold your seat as the plane flies erratically.
All right. So with all the bonuses, I get a +25 to this roll.
It's not a plane, first of all. It's a starship. And secondly, it's flying just fine. It's just very subtle differences you wouldn't even pick up on.
39.
Communication accepted.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Communication accepted, and you pass through the first communication, but then when you get into the airspace of the second crypt warden, another communication comes up. You are technically in the gunnery phase.
Do we want to move someone over into the gunnery phase so we can get two d20 rolls?
You can't. Yeah, do that at the top of the round. And everyone went.
Right, because everybody went. It's still considered the same round.
Right, it's the same round, yeah.
Okay, so something to think about going into next.
Oh, this is the gunnery phase. Oh, this is gunnery phase in round 1. Sorry,
Right.
I thought you were saying
Yeah.
it's round 2, gunnery phase.
Basically, Dax's crappy piloting resolves at the end of your successful check.
Still a 22.
He's really poor.
It's far better
Piloting.
than any 5th level pilot in the galaxy.
So you sort of jangle your way across the airspace towards the other ship when another communication comes up.
It's pretty smooth.
I love
rocky.
I love
Really rocky.
We all vomit because he's the G factor is just too high on his maneuvering. It was like, "Bah!"
It is the engineering phase again. Engineer, try and send a fake a glitch. Magic officer, try and continue to tap into that energy.
Wait, I'm sorry. We elected to not have a gunner?
Well, you can in this phase now have a gunner, but
Yeah,
you
exactly.
all used a crew action for the first round. So when it came to the gunnery phase, you don't have anybody that can take the gunnery.
I understand that, but why didn't we just assign a gunner at the first phase? We knew that was the most important check. Was there a reason I missed that we did that?
I think we just didn't realize
We
how it
just
all
didn't
shake
do
out.
Okay.
So now you can decide, maybe you don't want an engineer, maybe you don't want a magic officer, maybe you want to put somebody in the gunnery position this time around. Depends
I can do
what
it.
you
I can
prize
do it
the
if you
most.
want.
Well, who's going to pilot?
Can we still
done.
move the ship
What's-
without piloting it forward? Or
No, you have to have a pilot.
You have to have a pilot, yeah.
Grand.
Grant could pilot.
Yeah.
I'm sure Grant could also be the gunner. Like, there's nothing
Yeah, I can
Grant
do
can't
the gunner.
What is the gunner role?
To hit, it's an AC. You have to hit an
Yeah,
AC.
you have to hit an AC.
Well, what's the bonus?
The bonus
You
is
get to
your
roll twice the garble communication.
No. How do you decide if you succeed or not? Is
It's
it
either
the
your
ship's
ba-
gun bonus?
It's your base. The gunner check is always your base attack bonus or your ranks in piloting plus any computer bonuses plus.
Oh, okay.
It's a standard thing.
Yeah, so I gave
It's
you the
ranks in piloting. I remember that now. Yeah.
and I gave you the. It's got a basic computer, so it's pretty basic.
Okay.
So Grant, are you going to be the gunner, or Joe, are you going to be the gunner?
I'm happy either way.
Grant, you be the gunner and I'll fly.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right, engineer, try and fake a glitch. Oh, you're not going to do an engineer.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so
Skipping
Matt-
engineering.
So this is actually going to be a dangerous roll because we're going to be at a disadvantage this round because we're not going to have the engineer or the gunner helping us with this roll.
Right. This music is ominous. I like it. All right, Callum, where is your head at? You're trying to tap into something. Is there a specific source, or are you just like praying to a god that you believe in?
No, I think he's pulling from like alternate reality stuff again and hoping that like lines will cross and hoping that he's gonna, ping something off another ship's wave and it'll be like the right code or in the right order or something.
Okay.
So
Give me that mysticism check.
let's find out.
Callum is just reaching across reality.
Natural 18 plus 15.
+2 bonus to the garble communication check. Vroom, very quickly,
Nice.
maybe a little too quickly, we zoom into the helm phase, the Ed Helms phase.
Nice.
Captain, you will go last. Pilot, give me another pilot. Try to fly casual.
Can Chief Mate try to boost the pilot?
I would love that.
All right. Well, I'll try to. She gracefully moves from.
Well, if it
Kreska.
makes any difference to you, Ellie, I'm not going to get an engineering bonus. So if you want to give, this would be a good round to give the captain a bonus.
But she
All
did
right,
see how
Matthew.
badly Dax failed, and so her impulse was to boost him because she knows he needs all the help he can get. But
He's
you're the
fine.
captain. You're the captain.
He flies great.
I think your impulse. I think your impulse.
shoulder could use a little.
Okay. All right. Fine.
Now I'm all
So-
uneven.
So Linnea is like very happy about what the captain did, and so she starts doing the same thing. If you've seen the movie Foxcatcher, it's Mark Ruffalo, like he hugs the boxer every time, or like the wrestler before. So she starts hugging Kreska, her big body, and like, you're doing great. You can do this. Here, have some more massage. 24.
24. You just make it. DC
I know.
24.
I
You are
wish.
a calming presence, but yet again, was it acrobatic? I'm going to give you a +2 to that check. You do notice that one of the ships flying nearby is looking suspiciously into the cockpit at a human woman hugging a lizard. But thank goodness you put those skeleton costumes on.
Well, maybe she'll move in a, like, she's like really good at like mimicking a skeleton, and so she's like moving around in a professional dancing way.
And they say, oh, everything looks normal. And they keep flying.
Modern.
Bottle cap. Nice, Ellie.
Science officer, you did it the first time. Can you alter this code, this unique code, to make it check out?
Can you hear me, by the way?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. That is a 36.
Another +2 for the captain. It's all up to the pilot to see if you get the full +8. Can you fly casually?
I imagine, yeah, you say fly casually. I imagine Dax is matching their speed, matching their headings when it makes sense, and the way that they're flying and everything. It's all very technical. And he sees that it doesn't seem to work. They still put extra examination on this craft. And so he's like, he's missing something. And instead he thinks about Qualo and what Qualo would tell him when they would play music about how it's not all just about the basics of the mathematics of it. There's another layer to it that you have to understand. There's something else happening that is not by the numbers, and he's trying to now fly casually and bring an emotional feel into the decision and see if he can just let himself go and not look at their speeds and not look at all that stuff and see if there's another way.
Well, I want to hear the voice of Qualo in your head give you that one boost of confidence.
Qualo as you knew him? Is that the voice you're hearing it is?
Yeah,
or the
yeah.
Qualo?
Dex, sometimes you must feel the way forward rather than think the way forward. You can do it. May the Qualo be with you. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit.
At the end.
By the way, if you haven't yet, rethink all of Qualo's lines with his real voice. Like how different all of those scenes would play out. I think it's great. It's been fun for me to think about.
Go back.
It was such a beautiful reveal. It was such a beautiful reveal.
Feeling the emotions, 33.
That's another +2.
Qualo, baby! Yes!
Send that garbled communication. Can you bluff it, Cap'n?
Natural 13, so that's a 38.
Nice.
You pass the second check. Dax now really flying smooth up to the third checkpoint. Another beacon comes up. They're tight. They run a tight system. They're in the middle of a battle with the ancient Kashali defenses, but these Crypt Wardens are still guarding their ship, and you've passed 2 out of the 4 checks. We now have a gunnery phase, and Seyun is at the controls.
Is Seyun able to, and this kind of makes sense with some of her technical capability, is she able to pull a point from a computer on the ship for her role?
Yes, I believe.
No.
Oh, no.
No?
David?
I believe the basic computer is strictly a bonus to computers checks.
Okay.
I'll confirm that, but
Yeah, I think you're right. For some reason, I remember reading it. It might be in something else.
Okay. Well, then, Seyun will make a flat check, and the weapons on the ship are either a heavy EMP cannon, a gyro laser, or a light torpedo launcher. That is what is mounted at the turret and what would make the most sense for her to make a diversionary shot to make it appear as if she's attacking something else. So she's going to load up the torpedo launcher and fire. 17 on the die for a 32.
Boom, you blow up one of the defenses. And now, Kreska, next round, you will get to roll twice and take the better.
Enormous.
We move into the next engineering phase. Let's see here. Magic Officer, are you going to try and do the same thing? No engineer, just go Magic Officer?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, I'm sorry. I thought we were talking about gunner.
No, you
Wait, who's an engineer? No, he's an engineer.
No
right now.
engineer and gunner. We're going to send the engineer to gunner.
We have 2 more checks, correct?
Yes, as far as you know.
At the start of next turn, Seyun will move from gunner to engineer.
That's good.
That's smart.
Wow, and then Seyun alone would give 2 bonuses to that check.
Yeah.
That's
pretty
smart.
cool.
All right, so Callum, give me another mysticism check. See if you get this bonus. Callum are you just sitting in the corner like meditating, or are you looking out the window?
I think Callum is very quiet now. Normally he's kind of like loud and maybe using that as like a energy thing, but he's being very quiet and like really focusing on trying to pull from these ships because it's hard. I mean, they're so far away. It's vast space, but that's going to be a 25 total.
Ooh, just made it. DC 24.
Oh, man.
You do get the +2.
Nice, Callum. Nice.
Straight to the helm phase. This time, let's start with Dax. Dax, you're maybe now you're feeling the controls. It was a little janky at first because it's weird. Things aren't where they normally are.
He was overthinking it. He was overthinking it. He has to feel.
Force, Dax.
That gets Ellie every time. All right, here we go. Piloting check. That is a 29.
You got just close. Maybe you got too confident, but that is enough to give a bonus to the captain.
Okay.
All right, science officer, you're on a roll. You're
All right.
rocking and rolling. Last time you crushed the check.
Shuttle Titanium, what is your cargo and destination? Parsec technical crew for the Forest Moon. 31.
Just, I mean, you can always rely on Friss in these instances. Another +2. Chief Mate, so far so good. But I'm really not seeing the acrobatic nature of these. Do you want me to switch back to diplomacy?
Well, that's the other thing. I just want to make sure, Ellie, you're aware. I'm not sure if you're picking up on Troy's
I get
shit.
it.
But I mean, you get that like you'll get a bigger bonus. Right?
I get it.
More
I get
than
it.
+2. Okay.
All right, fine. Let's make it weird. Linnea feels like some sort of beat inside of her. And she's like getting wrapped up in the vibrations of the universe. And she starts like, as she's like hugging Kreska, like feeling this big energy, she starts getting into it more and more. And starts like freaking flinging around on those bones. Like she's propelling herself in this interpreted dance, and it's just like, oh God, I'm feeling it. And, I feel like everyone should be inspired by that. She's just like,
Is that a Pentecostal church all of a sudden?
It's amazing, dude.
and if that's not
interpretive
acrobatics,
dance, she's not far off at all.
I agree. I've seen way too many shows.
What you're telling me is, caught up in the moment, you start swinging from the bones like stripper poles
Yes.
and speaking in tongues.
Yes.
Yeah, she's parkouring around the ship.
And yeah, I mean,
That
it
would
looks-
improve everyone's performance.
yeah,
Witnessing that.
she's
I kind of
like
want to give it a
getting-
-2 to the check. It's distracting.
I think it's
It
amazing.
reminds me of like when you're riding a subway and the guys come in with a boombox and just go, showtime!
Oh, no,
Oh,
not
yeah,
showtime.
showtime is
that.
it.
Trying to garble communication, please.
Yeah, like move. Everyone, step aside before I kick your face.
They kick you in the face, yeah.
The thing to remember here is Ellie is not trying to inspire everyone with acrobatics. She has an ability, acrobatic grace, which means that when Linnea does it, it looks incredible to us.
Exactly. You
It's
can't
like something you've
imagine.
never seen before.
You have to imagine. You can't imagine me doing this. You have to imagine like a beautiful, tall, cool woman with a ribbon running around doing this.
Yeah.
What did you roll
When you put it that
for
way, That
acrobatics?
makes sense.
I think it's hot. Okay, fine. Let's do it.
Get it?
27.
I'm going to give you a +4 for
Oh, yeah.
Acrobatic grace for the win.
because yes, yeah, Joe, you nailed it. Like the way she does it it looks good.
Yeah, it's an
with that
ability. It's a
ability.
character
Wait.
ability.
So if all of that and that Joe gets the credit.
Right. Well, all I heard was just garbled nonsense until Joe really made me understand what you were saying.
It's like he's like Troy. You have to picture someone else than this Ellie.
Let's try this new
Picture
bottle
someone
cap
else.
system. Go ahead and give Joe a bottle cap.
This is
for
amazing.
that. I think, Joe, you get a cap for explaining Ellie's nonsense. I really just want to test out the new cap system. No, I'm just kidding. Don't give him one. All right, Captain, give me your third of hopefully only 4 of these checks to get past the third Crypt Warden. Roll
So I got
twice. Take the better.
+2 from Callum, +2
from Dax.
from Dax, +4 from Linnea, and +2 from Friss.
Yes.
And you roll twice and
roll
take
twice.
the better.
Take
And
the
I roll
bestie.
twice. So that is going to be a +27 to this roll.
Wow.
Wow.
38.
What was the other one?
And you rolled twice and took the better?
Yeah, I rolled an 11 and a 7.
Oh.
And with ease, you slide forward up to
Okay.
the final.
All right, one more.
It's pounding.
Seiyun, go ahead and give me another gunnery check to see if you're close. Maybe this last one is like peak. Maybe these DCs, these bluff checks are going up. You got to make sure it looks good.
Yeah, and probably scans the horizon or whatever serves as a horizon in space to look at something that almost looks like a broadside off of the mothership or the last ship to kind of distract them so that they kind of see the torpedo go by and then they see the nearest target that would make sense. Next to it, another 17, 32.
Roll twice, take the better for the final check.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go through this. No, now are you just going to slide into the engineer chair, Seyun, for the final
For
check?
the final, yep.
All right, give me that glitch fake. Or fake glitch.
Natural 20.
Who is this Seyun? She's on fire.
That makes me feel so good.
Magic Officer Callum, you're really into it now.
Let's see.
Pulling the power of the cosmos. Luck of Triune.
27.
Oh, again, just a death. All right, so now you got a +4. It comes back to the science officer.
Teenage boy. He does just enough to get by. All he needs to do. No extra.
Frisk typing away with his eyes closed. What'd you get?
It's an older code, sir, but I was about to clear them. No. It's an older code, sir, but it checks out. I was about to clear them.
I was about to clear them.
Should I hold them? 27.
Ooh, all right. So maybe Frisk, not unlike Dax, got a little too confident, but still passes. So now you're up to a +6. Chief Mate, we need one last hurrah here.
All right, fine. Okay, maybe she's now full on dancing, and so she's just like, she's tapping on the floor, like just a steel town girl on a Saturday night, looking for the fight of her life, and then like water bottle all over her, and it's like
Blood comes out of the ceiling.
glistening.
Pours a water bottle all over.
Yeah. She's a maniac, and like you can see like her skin tight clothes, and like it's amazing. So it's kind of sexy, but it's also like inspiring. Remember that it's always inspiring.
Yeah.
And she's like fucking into it now, and
Dax
just going for it. And she ends it with a grand chate of like, you know, like at the end of Billy Elliot, you know, someone runs up and then makes a split in the air.
Give me the acrobatics check.
90-20. 90 fucking 20. It's the grand chate. Oh!
I'm gonna give you a +5 to this.
Yes.
Nice.
Give me your final garbled communication. Roll twice and take the better. You're getting 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. +13.
Wait, did Joe roll his check?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
no,
have it
I'm
too.
sorry. Fly casual,
Oh.
yes.
I haven't got my check yet. I just pictured Dax like he's trying to fly this fucking thing. He's got all these readouts, and all of a sudden, water just like hits the side of like the back of his head.
splashes all
And
over
there's
the
just like
console.
droplets on the panels, and he's just like, these things could short out. And she looks back, and she's just like jumping into this full split with like a 5-foot vertical. Just inspiring.
It's the end of Swan Lake, basically.
Like Nomi
30.
and Showgirls.
Even 30 Dax gets. Such an inspiring performance.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Roll twice. Take the better. Higher DC.
This is a +30 to this roll.
Oh my god.
Can we fail it?
Everyone did a great job.
This is the best we've ever all rolled consecutively.
I
It's
know.
amazing.
Oh, yeah.
This is the best Starship Combat I've ever been part of.
now
Starship Combat.
Yes.
Starship
Combat.
I rolled a natty 16, so that is a 46.
So as Dax flies casually, Seyun goes from firing at one of the defenses and then slides with grace into the engineer chair to pump out a glitch. Callum focusing on the mysteries of the universe. Frisk typing away furiously on this bone computer. And Linnea gracefully dancing as water droplets fly about the room, going into the vacuum of space and just floating away. Kreska sends the final communication. There's a long pause, longer than any of the other three, and then finally, communication accepted. Yeah. And you glide into the hangar of the Ultranaut, and we'll see you next week.
Boarding action! Oh, this is awesome. This is awesome.
Job team.
Good team effort. Who knew the only thing you needed to spruce up Starship Combat was interpretive dance?
I know. This is
The one missing element. We found it.
That's what they missed.
All you need to do is throw out all the rules and add a dance.
When in doubt.
Right. Goodbye.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.